Welcome to the League of Nerds comic book segment number 6. My name's John Cooney. I'm here to talk to you about comics, specifically comics being released today, March 21st, 2012. Let's talk about some of the books that are out today. From DC, we've got Batman number 7. This is the kind of the aftermath of Batman's encounter with the Court of Owls, and it promises to have a big secret revealed in this issue. So you might want to check that out. Catwoman number 7 by Judd Winnick is a new story arc, picking up after the first 6 issues of Catwoman. Fables number 115 out today by Bill Willingham. I've talked about this book before. This is a great book in the Vertigo line from DC, where they're setting the fairy tale characters in the real world and are exploring how those characters would interact in our society. It's a good read. Justice League number 7 out today. This is the next story arc after the first 6 issues, and it brings the Justice League into the current continuity of the New 52, where the first 6 issues were set 5 years previous. And so this will introduce some changes into the League and catch us up with where they are in the current continuity. Supergirl number 7 out today from DC. It picks up on the cliffhanger from last issue where we have Supergirl against the World Killers, and we're going to learn more about their connection to Krypton. Now from Marvel this week, we've got Amazing Spider-Man 682. That's the beginning of a big storyline, Ends of the Earth, for Spider-Man versus Dr. Octopus, and this promises to be a big event in the Spider-Man universe. Avengers X-Sanction number 4, that's the final issue of that series, and that sets the stage for the Avengers vs. X-Men crossover coming up this year from Marvel. That is the big event for the year for them. Fear Itself, The Fearless number 11, speaking of big events, that is the kind of the epilogue to last year's big crossover that they had, and that is number 11 of 12, so they're wrapping that up. New Mutants number 39 out today. Uncanny X-Men number 9. Again, laying these X-Men books, laying more groundwork for this Avengers vs. X-Men crossover. And finally from Marvel, one of my favorite books they produce, X-Factor 233 out today, where we're going to see a new direction with the team. Havoc and Polaris taking control of the team, and I'm excited to see what Peter David does with those characters again. One other book I wanted to mention out by Marvel. I've talked before about some of these media crossover books, and I know that Brandon and David like Orson Scott Card. Formic Wars Silent Strike number 4 of 5, which is a prequel to the classic Ender's Game, out today. And as we approach the conclusion of that story, it really sets the stage going into what we know occurs in Ender's Game. It's the final battle, and the humans are severely outnumbered. And excited to see this original storyline being produced in the Ender's Game universe. Now I know that our production has been off and we've missed a couple of weeks of titles, but I wanted to let you know that those reviews are up and available if you wanted to hear about what was released the last couple of weeks. My thoughts on those are available at he'sgotissues.com, my Facebook blog. Number 4 from comics released on the 7th of March, we talked about Fairest, which is a spin-off from the Fables Vertigo line. We've got Fringe. We talked about the conclusion of the Avengers Children's Crusade. We talked about John Byrne's X-Men and what he's doing with that, and I kind of got nostalgic about the comic production in the 90s. And then we talked about Avengers X-Men versus X-Men and the whole big comic crossover events that the industry, and specifically DC and Marvel, seem to produce every year. Last year being Marvel's Fear Itself and DC's Flashpoint, which set up the relaunch. Number 5 for comics released March 14th, also available on he'sgotissues.com, where we talked about the way that DC is handling some of these new 52 titles, the differences in the way that they're treating these different books, and adjusting continuity. We also talked about Marvel's attempt at maximizing the Avengers movie with a new title that was released last week, and the shipping schedule for Powers, and how sporadic that's been, although they did make good and release 2 comics in a row, last month and this month, and I'm excited for that. We also talked about Scarlet Spider and Spider-Man cloning, and some of the other more offbeat titles that were issued last week. So check those out. There's a lot of good information. There's always a lot of good books out, and you can visit your local comic shop to get more information on them, or you can check in with me again at he'sgotissues.com to see what I'm reading, and give me your feedback. I'm always interested in hearing what you're reading and your thoughts on books that are being produced. So that's it for me. So I'll sign off with my usual, I'm John Cooney, and I've got issues.